Let's move on now. Before President Buhari presented the 2018 budget to the National Assembly, he did not do that without building an appropriate premise. The president also quickly used that opportunity to throw in a few scorecard of his administration. He said the previous budgets have done well, so the new budgets will consolidate on that performance. The president also expressed optimism that 2018 will be a year of better outcomes. Then the president presented a budget tagged the budget of consolidation. Now, eyes are all on the National Assembly to do their part of the job. The budget may be on paper right now, even remain a document for a while, but what are the realities of the 2018 budget? How does the number affect you? And what is the politics behind the figures? Let's get talking. Let's attempt to make a good meaning of all of these. I have joining me from our Abuja studio, Tope Fasua. He's the CEO of Global Analytics, a consultant and an analyst. Thank you so much, Tope, for joining us on the program tonight. What do you make of those figures that we have now? 8 trillion, we've moved from the 6 trillion the first year of this administration to the 7 trillion, the last budget, and this one, 8 trillion naira. Generally speaking, the president said it's going to be a budget of consolidation. Mr. Fasua, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, thank you, Sean. My thoughts are that it's not a bad idea, moving up this way. After all, we were coming from a regime of 4 trillion, 5 trillion budgets and so on, We're moving on ever so gradually, but I think at some point in time we need to tell ourselves that we need to compare what's going on around the world, I mean, we can't be local champions, we can't be champions within ourselves. But if we look at what's going on around the world, even in Africa here, you would realize that even 8 trillion is too small for us as a country. There's what is called fiscal productivity in economics, and that's when you look at the fiscal sector vis-a-vis the GDP of a country. For example, what is the ratio of Nigeria's budget to its GDP? It's really pretty small. We're talking about 8 out of 400. Yeah, 8 over 400. It's almost infinitesimal. But if you look at other countries, even in Africa here, you'll see that they're dreaming bigger than us, and that's unfortunate, and it's almost unbelievable. South Africa in year 2017 is budgeting $115 billion as a country. Algeria is budgeting $63 billion. Angola is budgeting $44 billion. And Nigeria is budgeting just $23 billion this year. In the 2018 budget, we're budgeting an equivalent of $27 billion. And we have 180 million mouths to feed. So when you look at it on a per capita basis, whereas South Africa is budgeting $1,900 per citizen, and Algeria is doing $1,600, Angola is doing $1,500, Ghana is doing $518, Egypt is doing $520, Nigeria is budgeting only $111 per citizen this year. With this budget going to 8 trillion and the population growing at the same time, maybe we'll be looking at about $130 or thereabout per annum. And if you divide that by 365 days a year, you probably will see that poverty that they're talking about. So the point is that the federal government has to have bigger dreams for the people of this country. So it's not a Buhari regime affair. It's not a Buhari regime problem alone. I can see them kicking and trying to make a difference, but this is something that we haven't actually ever planned big for ourselves as a people. And the time is now, to begin to throw away all the things that we thought we knew and to do new things. So that's the point where we are right now. I was doing a research just this evening to look at what countries that export even agricultural products. United States exports almost $150 billion in agri products alone every year. Netherlands does almost $100 billion in agri products alone in a year. And that's we're talking about, that is 4 times our budget or 5 times our budget. The US is exporting about 7 times our budget in agri products alone. Right. So, look, African countries are in a pitiable state. Maybe sans South Africa. South Africa is perhaps the only economy that one may have a bit of respect for in Africa, apart from maybe those ones in North Africa who are also kicking in and pulling their weight. Countries like Kenya are not doing so badly, but Nigeria is it's actually punching under its weight by every means. We can't be the largest economy in Africa, so to speak, on paper, and we can't even generate the revenue from the so-called size of the economy. Why would South Africa be having $115 billion, which they are funding by almost $109 billion in revenue every year, and Nigeria is struggling to generate $15 billion as revenue for a whole year? That's I think that we're missing out on too much in this country, and we need to do something about it.